Hi, everybody, and welcome back to World Wildlife Journeys with Russell Gammon. We've had a bit of a hiatus over the last week, if you've been following closely. It's due to my laptop having given up the ghost. So this week, we're going to just do a quick video on packing for your safari. It's a very practical video, something that I know a lot of people have asked me for over the years, and so one that's long overdue. We're just going to dive straight into it. So firstly, I'm just going to show you the bag that I use to pack to go on safari. We could go into quite a great deal of detail about the bags that you could or couldn't use. But essentially, you'll find that your safari operator asks you to get a soft-sided bag, and they give you a specific set of dimensions. Please understand that this is because that's the dimensions of the hold under the aircraft. So there's a space about this size that your pilot's got to get that bag through to get it into the hold underneath the aircraft. So if you bring a Samsonite suitcase that cannot be compressed, it will not go through that gap into the hold. So soft-sided bags are preferable, a type of duffel bag being the ideal. But these days I do use a hybrid, which is a thing called a rolling duffel, which is this bag here. It's called an Osprey. You can see it's got a set of wheels on the bottom, but the important part is that this whole top section is soft, and so it can kind of be compressed and squashed into the hold of the aircraft. So I have the advantages of a rolling bag when I'm going through airports and going to safari, coming back from safari. Once I'm on safari, it's squashable enough that it can be gotten into the hold of the aircraft. So it's kind of a hybrid, the best of both worlds. There's a couple of different companies that make them. I'll post some links to them in the notes below the show. So then, what do I put in my bag? Right, very simple. 4 shirts, okay? When you're on safari, almost every single place that you stay is going to have a laundry service of some kind. Obviously, you're there for 2 nights, usually, maybe sometimes 3 nights. So you can manage your laundry and get it done, but there's always going to be the day that you're leaving. You're going to have one set of change of clothing, and the day that you're traveling, maybe another set of clothing. Then you get there, you wear a 3rd set. So I find 4 is about the ideal number for shirts, okay? And I perspire quite heavily, so I've got to have a fresh shirt, usually 2 a day. But I can keep up with that if I've got 4, and I've usually got a 5th one that I'll wear on my way to safari and back from safari. So in a pinch, if I don't have a fresh shirt back from the laundry, I can wear that to dinner in the evening, and the next morning they've usually had the opportunity to get stuff back to me. Type of shirts that I prefer long sleeve shirts for safari. I'm very fair skinned, so that gives me an opportunity to roll down the sleeves and to get away from the sun. Save myself a bit of money on sunscreen. Or you can just wear something like this. It's a short sleeve. My preference personally is for cotton. I find that it breathes better and it's cooler. And on safari, it's preferable for me because, as I said, I'm a big guy. I feel the heat a lot, and so I like a shirt that's nice and cool. A lot of Americans prefer kind of synthetic fabrics that, you know, are supposed to wick moisture away from the body and do all of this stuff. I personally can't wear anything nylon. It just makes me overheat. If you're a more lightly built person and you don't have a problem with that, then by all means, those wash and wear fabrics are great. I actually quite often wear shorts that are made out of that kind of nylon wash and wear, just because they're longer wearing than my cotton shorts. And but definitely shirts, I like a cotton shirt. That's just my personal preference. 4 pairs of 4 shirts to change. They don't all have to be the same. They can be different colors, different whatever designs. You'll find that your tour operator tends to recommend that you wear khaki. sort of muted colors. And there is some fairly sound reasoning to this. Most of the wildlife actually don't see in color. So whether you're wearing a red shirt or an orange shirt or a gray shirt to a buffalo actually doesn't really make any difference. But it does make a difference to the insects. They can see in color. So if you come with a brightly colored Hawaiian shirt, you'll find yourself very popular with the insects. So there is a certain logic to wearing khaki. But the other thing about it is that there's every opportunity that at some point in time you might be in the background of somebody's photograph. And if you're wearing your favorite kind of Maui, Wowie shirt, you know, you're really going to stick out in the back of somebody's photograph of a cheetah, which, you know, it's just best to try and blend in the bush. Doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. There are two colors that you should avoid packing. One is white. Firstly, it shows the dirt. Secondly, animals use it as a danger signal because it's the one color that shows up really clearly for them. So you find the underneath of an impala's tail and most antelope's tail, they have white hair, something we call a tail flash. They use it to indicate danger to them, to other animals around. And the one color that they can see really, really clearly is white. So if you're on a walking safari wearing white, not only are they going to see you coming from a million miles away, but they're also going to interpret your presence as danger, and they're going to run in the opposite direction. Okay. And the other color that you should avoid wearing on safari is black. And the reason for that is that at certain points in your journey, you may be going through an area that is prone to tsetse fly. And tsetse flies are drawn to black and dark blue. So if you wear those colors, you'll find those flies coming to you in large numbers, and they bite. So trust me, you will have an extremely discomforting time if you come out on safari wearing black and you're going to somewhere like the Serengeti or the Kafue or somewhere like that. You're just going to be miserable. So err on the side of khaki, kind of medium shades, greens, grays, browns, anything like that in the mid-range. But by all means, you do not need to go out and buy an entirely new wardrobe just to come on safari to Africa. I'm sure if you hunt around in your closet, you'll find the right appropriate stuff. I always say to people, it's not a fashion parade. So if you're wearing the same thing 2 days running, don't worry about it. So is everybody else. And that's the whole purpose of the exercise. Okay. Then for your bottom covering, I prefer to carry 2 pairs of shorts and 2 pairs of trousers. Now, game drives in the early morning can be quite cold. On a winter's day, you'll be especially glad that you bought a pair of long trousers. And in fact, in wintertime, I will have an additional pair of long johns that I wear under the trousers, just because I don't like the cold very much either. But you'll find that, you know, we tell people when they're coming out on safari, you're going to be coming here in wintertime, your summer, our winter. And it behooves you to dress warmly. And we always get the same response that somebody will say, you know, we're from Wisconsin. You can't tell us about cold. You know, we know all about it. But the difference is in Wisconsin, if it's minus 5 degrees Celsius, you generally speaking don't get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and jump on the back of a pickup truck and go for a drive. You know, that wind chill factor is a substantial thing. For every 5 kilometers an hour, minus 1 degree Celsius. So if you clip in along at 20 Ks an hour, you start off at minus 5, you're at minus 10 by the end of the drive. So it's cold and you're going to feel the cold and you need to dress appropriately. So in addition to the shirts and shorts and aforementioned trousers, I will add a base layer in wintertime just to give myself that little bit of extra warmth. And it doesn't bulk up your packing that much more. It's just an extra layer. So the secret to this, they'll tell you, is to dress in layers like an onion. And then as the sun comes out, you can peel off layers. So generally speaking, some kind of windbreaker jacket is a good idea. And then in wintertime, I will add underneath that a long sleeve, what we call a puffy. So long sleeve jacket that's got a thermal filler in it. In summertime, I have a sleeveless version of that I wear. And so I'll still have the long sleeve windbreaker, something to, a jacket that's got a nice ability to stop the wind. And then underneath, summer, I'll layer just a waistcoat, which has got a down filler. And in winter time, I wear a long sleeve jacket with a down filler and gloves, just to keep my fingers nice and toasty warm. And I wear a beanie in winter time. I don't have so much hair on top anymore either. So trick is just to kind of work within the constraints of the bag, because you don't have a huge amount of space. So those thermal, the vest and the long sleeve puffy jacket, the down jacket that I wear, those things will pack away into a pack about this size. Thermally extremely efficient in terms of the space that they take up and how warm they keep you. And the same thing for a base layer, like a good mohair base layer or something like that is going to make you feel nice and warm and toasty in the winter time. So then you got your 2 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of trousers. Again, you probably have a third pair of trousers or jeans and a shirt that you traveled in. Add to that a pair of shoes that I can wear, and I usually wear something that's like a trekking shoe or a trail running shoe, with a short, with socks. And I will also have a pair of something like Keens or Tevas or something like that to wear around the camp, to take on, wear on a game drive in the afternoon if it's hot. You can just live in those things, and they're very comfortable. So you want 1 pair of closed shoes with a couple of pairs of socks, and 1 pair of Tevas, Keens, something like that. I prefer the Keens because they have that protective toe cap. If you do wear them on a walking safari or you're walking around the camp, quite often there's sticks that are lying on the ground where the elephants have been feeding. Get one of those under your toenail, you know all about it. It's not much fun. So I actually like having that toe cap that the Keens have got, give you a little bit of extra protection. That is basically about it. You need something to sleep in, so I just have like a cotton PJs that I wear in the summertime, and same thing, a little bit heavier in the winter time. I also bring with me my kikoi, which is basically a cotton shift. It's usable for multiple purposes. You can use it as a scarf, you can use it as a mask, you can wear it as a shmeg. There's 101 uses for it. You can use it to screen yourself from the sun in the daytime, keep yourself warm in winter, in the evening time. So it's a very versatile thing, but it's just basically a big cotton scarf that I carry with me everywhere I go. And then obviously your medical supplies, your medicines, your toothpaste, and all of that sort of thing. But realistically, 4 shirts, 4 shorts, 4 changes of clothing, something to keep you warm in the evening, couple of spare set of shoes, couple of pairs of socks, and couple of changes of underwear, and that's it. You're good to go. You do not need, honestly, to bring much more than that. I've been traveling with that setup basically for years. I don't think, I'm hard pressed to think of a time when I wish that I had bought more. And if I have ever on occasion bought more, I've usually really regretted it, because it just complicates your packing. The other thing to do is to make sure that you choose a bag that's big enough that when you pack your bag so that you're ready to travel, you should never ever be packed to the absolute limit of your bag. And the reason for this is that the packing that you do at home before you begin your safari is likely to be the most precise and pristine and brilliant packing job ever. And so when you do that, you actually want to have about 20% of your bag, give or take, that's a little bit left over, so that on the day that you're moving camp and you have to pack hastily because you came back from a late game drive and you're watching the lions hunting the buffaloes, you now got 10 minutes to eat breakfast, shove everything in your bag, get on a plane and get to the next camp, you're going to be very grateful that you got that extra 20% in your bag, because you can just grab your laundry, shove it in there, grab your shoes, shove them in there. You haven't got time to do it neatly, and hey presto, you can still close the zip, throw it in the back of the truck, and you're off to the next your next evolution. But if you've got a bag that is just fitting your gear when it's perfectly packed, trust me, on that day when you're in a hurry, you're going to regret it, because you're going to be jumping up and down on your suitcase to try and get the zips to close. So that's basically what should be in your main bag, and I'll include a packing list of gear below in the notes to the show. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about how I pack my backpack, which I carry with me on the game drive. So, and that will do a proper pack down where I'll actually pack the backpack out and then take it out and actually show you item by item what's in that bag, because that is really where the magic happens. You know, for years, I've refined what I take with me on the game drive, how I carry it, and I've really got that down to an art form. So that'll be a very, very useful thing for you guys to have a look at. Because when you go out on the game drive, you want to have your camera, your binoculars, you want to have this and that and the next thing, but you want to have them readily available. So you need a backpack to carry all that stuff to the truck. But then typically you don't always have enough space to have the backpack sitting on the seat next to you. If the game drive vehicle's full, quite often your backpack ends up getting shoved in the back. So the stuff that you need to have with you on, you know, right there, and stuff that you want to carry with you in your backpack, like rain gear, for instance, which you don't actually need to have access to right now. You just want to know that you're carrying it with you in the event that you might need it. Okay. And so we're going to run through that in the next presentation, and that'll be a good one to watch as well if you're going to be coming on safari with us. I'm excited. Yesterday, the CDC said that anyone who's been vaccinated is safe to travel, and so I'm starting to get quite excited. I even dusted my old bag off, and it hasn't seen any action in over a year. So both me and my bag are excited, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And there'll be a packing list below for those of you that are planning to come out and travel with us. Obviously, there are specific activities on safari, like if you're going gorilla trekking, there's a specific subset of gear that you will have to get and take with you for that particular activity. So this packing list that you'll see below is really kind of a generic, you know, if you're coming out on safari, it's a generic, and I'll do a winter version and a summer version. And what I like to do, I don't get paid for this or anything, so you don't need to read anything into it. But when I'm trying to describe to you a particular type of shoe or something like that, it's the easiest thing for me to do is just put a link to the item of gear that I'm talking about, and it'll just take you to the Amazon catalog and show you this is the picture of what I'm talking about, this. So there'll be a whole bunch of links in the notes, and you can go and look at them, and then don't buy whatever I'm using. Just use it as a guideline to say, okay, it's that kind of thing that I'm looking for. And then you can go down to your local gear shop and give the sales assistant a bump in his monthly sales figures, and get him to fish out something similar to that for you. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope that you enjoy one day coming back on safari with me. Thanks a lot. Bye.